just going to put a...
He's down.
Okay, I'm on my bike again. Hey peeps. LOL! Ran him over! Ah!
You getting it done in the bike?
Yeah! Oh, damn it!
They have a tank. They have a fucking tank.
So, as I'm sure you know, Endgame is now out on PC, and it is a heck of a lot of fun. I'm playing a rush game here on Nabandum Flats. This is attacking, of course. You start up on this hill, and you got to sort of fight your way through the desert rocks down onto those first set of buildings, and then the next rush bases are further down the road, as you'll see, down towards where the wind farm is, right down there. And it's a good map. It's a good map for rusters, especially for infantry, even though there is an attack helicopter on the defending team, and in fact on the attacking team as well, because there's actually a decent amount of cover for you to get into. Now, I have got a heck of a lot to cover in this video, including my thoughts on Endgame. I'm going to be also showing you a really cool field of view trick. If you ever wondered on PC how to set your field of view, and it is largely due to personal preference, but there's also something else you should know. I'm going to tell you about that later on in the video. And there's also the opportunity to submit your clips to me for a community montage, and I have got an insanely good song for that. So if you want your clip, well, I'll tell you about that later. But just before I get onto my thoughts on Endgame, episode 3 of my Black Ops 2 Maptic series, this time on Raid, is now up on Machinima UK. They're hosting it for me, since I know a lot of you guys don't like Call of Duty on this channel. So it's just up on there. I know about 25,000 or whatever of you watch it, so if you want to watch that, you can just click link bottom left, it'll open it in a new window. It won't interrupt this video, it's just there for you. On to the Endgame DLC though. For some reason, I don't know what it was, I've been really anticipating this DLC. I've been really looking forward to it. I think it's because when I play Rush now in Battlefield 3, up to Endgame, it was literally always Damavand Peak, or Sign Crossing, or perhaps Grand Bazaar. They're the only maps that ever seem to run, with the exception of perhaps Karg Island once in a blue moon on PC. And now there's these really good maps for Rush. I'm not saying all of them are good for Rush. I think that Operation Riverside and Abandoned Flags particularly stand out if you're a Rush fan like I am. It seems Conquest is good on Kaiser Railroad, and when you get in that dropship, which I'm going to show in a video perhaps tomorrow, it is, well, you can just stand in the doorway to the dropship whilst infantry fighting vehicles zoom out of it as somebody spawned in them, and then you just watch where you want to drop over the battlefield as it sort of circles over. It is, oh, it's really, really good fun. In fact, it's the first time I've really enjoyed Conquest as much as I enjoy Rush, because I always, if I had the choice, I would always up to this point have played Rush, but with Endgame, I feel like I'm playing them both about the same amount. I do, however, have some bad news for you about Endgame. The S-Tech 1911, oh dear. It turns out you don't need to just get 20 headshots with a pistol to unlock it. You in fact need to unlock the 4 previous dog tags before it, and trust me, it is an absolute... I haven't unlocked it yet. It is just the biggest freaking weapon grind I think I have ever in Battlefield 3. It's absolutely crazy. So if you've got the S-Tag, that shows that you're a true grinder, I think, because not many people have got it at the moment. Now, if you haven't got Premium and you're planning on buying Endgame, in fact, you can get Battlefield 3 Premium, I think it's called. Well, I'll try and link it in the description if I can find it, but it basically gets you all of the DLCs for the price of the game, so that's really the only thing worth buying now, not Endgame DLC on its own, if you haven't got the game at all. But I would rank Endgame DLC at about the same level as I would Strike at Karkan. So for me, the DLCs go Aftermath, I think, was probably my favourite of the DLCs, followed by Strike at Karkan and this, then Armoured Kill. That may surprise some people, but for me, the AC-130, and I know they've fixed it now, but it kind of direct all the Rush servers. There are very few that you can actually play with Armoured Kill, so I can't really rank it as good as these, where there actually are servers you can play in them. And then finally Close Quarters, just because I don't really think Close Quarters kind of fits in with what Battlefield's about. That is all very good and well, you say, but on to more interesting things, Frankie. And I have in fact got some more interesting things, including some dirt bike in here, which is a lot of fun. I'm sure you know already. I mean, if you've played on PS3, you will know this. But if you go over jumps whilst pressing the shift button, I think, which is the one which makes you rear up on your back wheel, you'll actually do almost twice the jump height, it seems, or maybe just under twice the jump height. So it is really cool for getting some cool moments. And there will be a moment where somebody actually manages to C4 dirt bike jump a jet. There has been a really cool clip where somebody managed to do a dirt bike jump and then RPG a helicopter by switching onto the back seat. That was awesome. But there's so much potential with the dirt bikes, and they are a lot more fun than the quad bikes are, just because you go so fast, and they may seem a little bit vulnerable given that small arms fire hurts them, but hurts them? Such a technical term. Damages them. So that small arms fire damages them. But they are still really a lot of fun. And this is one of the best places to be, I think, on this map. Especially if their helicopter's not up. But you got to watch for that. Because I was playing this map with Jack. And the number of times I was up on here thinking, I'm in a super elite scout sniper position up here. Bam. The helicopter just destroys me from miles away. Because you are really exposed. But get up on here if you're playing Rush. Because it will help your team defend. Or attack. But the field of view trick. I was going to talk about them. But somehow managed to sidetrack myself away from them. But this trick... You might be wondering how to set field of view. As I'm sure you know, on consoles there's about a 60 field of view, 60 degree field of view as to what you can see on screen. On Battlefield 3 PC, you can of course go up to 90 degrees. The choice is really up to you. And it is largely down to personal preference, which is a sort of generic thing as if I don't really know much about it. But I have been researching field of view. And I've discovered how to find out, and I've told you about this in the description. I'm not going to explain it right now because it's just ridiculously difficult to explain. But you can basically find out, based on the distance from your screen, the distance from your eyeball to the top and the bottom of your screen, what your natural field of view was. So pretend for a second the monitor in front of you isn't a monitor, but it's just a window. You want that field of view that you can actually see through that. And anything less than that could potentially, if you're susceptible to motion sickness, make you feel motion sick. So that's why a lot of people say, you know, I play with sort of, I don't know, a 60 degree field of view. I'm sat a foot away from my PC and I feel absolutely awful. It's because your field of view is less than what it naturally is set to. So I did the calculation that you can do in the description, and I found out that, and I'm basically sat about 26 inches away from my monitor, well, 26 inches from the bottom of my monitor. I found out that my natural field of view is 77 degrees in game, so nowhere near 90 degrees, which is what I had it set to at this point. And you might be thinking, well, it doesn't really matter if you have 10 degrees difference. You know, I could set it to 80, and that's what I've got it set to now, and this is the preferred field of view I play on. It makes no difference whether you play at 80 or 90, frankly. But what I've been finding, and this is why I decided to look up, you know, sort of finding your perfect field of view for yourself, where you sat and all that kind of thing, is that I played better and I aimed better in Call of Duty Pro Mod and also in Crysis, where the field of view is limited to 80. And I never really considered this until recently, but it really will affect your aim. You know, 90 field of view isn't necessarily the best for every person. A lot of people swear by it, and a lot of people naturally set it to the most because it gives you sort of better peripheral vision to an extent. That again depends on how well your eyes can actually see things peripherally. Some people's eyes just see that, you know, there's about a 60 degree angle in the middle of your eyes where you see perfectly, and that's like everything that's in focus, and then everything beyond that, between like your 180 degree field of view or whatever humans have, is just sort of blurs and you only notice movement. Now some people are better at a 90 degree field of view because they can see sort of more in that peripheral vision. I personally think that 80 is better, and it also makes me feel like things are less clustered when I'm playing at 80 degrees because there's less on screen and there's less for me to sort of concentrate on. So my point is, if you want to check it out, you can do this in the description. But it might help your aim, and it is really the last thing if you've been watching my videos on how to improve your first-person shooter aim. Well, I would not be surprised if some of you were asleep from that explanation, but it had to be done. I had to completely cover everything to do with first-person shooter aim. Although I do have something which is a bit more interesting now to tell you about, perhaps, depending on what interests you. But it's this, a community montage for Battlefield 3. I'm looking to make one, and I've got some really cool shots already. It's going to have like a bit of a story, and it's got a really cool song backing it. But basically, I want your clips. They have to be in 1080p. It doesn't matter too much where your in-game graphical settings are. If you've got a beast clip on low, then that's okay. You know, if you can play on higher graphical settings, that's even better. But you need to upload them to me. Please don't make them too large. Actually, try and re-render them in Vegas or something like that if you know how to do so. And I'll download them and put them into the montage. So just send me a private message with the link. Thanks for watching, guys. If you could leave me a comment, a rating, it's much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next chapter. This is going to be one long book.